to the final of the Devon Bowl after a 4-2 victory over Tavistock. I mean, what's your general feeling after that game?
It was a great experience for the lads, playing against a strong men's team who were doing well in their league. The first half wasn't the level that I would expect us to play at, with or without the ball. Not really enough intensity to try and win the ball back quickly enough, and not really enough bravery to get on the ball and move it in a way that is Exeter City. Second half, certainly the first 25 minutes, despite conceding, which again is credit to them to bounce back from that, was excellent. High intensity, high drive, desperation to run that little bit quicker, work that little bit harder. Some real bravery to go and get on the ball in tight areas, which again, it was a fairly difficult pitch. I told them that I'm not bothered about mistakes, and in the second half it looked like they believed me a bit more. I thought Alfie Cunningham for 25 minutes as an under 16 playing in men's football, going and getting on the ball in those areas and then getting his goal, which was a worldie of a strike, was great. But as a team, they stood up to it. We didn't defend set pieces anywhere near well enough. We've got to be better than that, because when you get into League Two, if you're lucky enough to get there, the quality is greater, the delivery is better, and people can attack it even more than what Tavistock did tonight, and they were pretty good. But yeah, overall, lads can be happy with the night's work, I think.
Yeah, Tavistock obviously had us under the cosh, if you like, for the first quarter of the game, but they managed to sort of get through that. I mean, you must be proud of how the boys got through that period.
Yeah, they stuck at it. I think that Tavistock deserved to score the equaliser, and I think they deserved another goal at the end. It wasn't a 4-2 game. You know, we scored 2 goals that were outstanding. The free kick was excellent technique, unstoppable free kick. And I'd love to have a camera angle behind Alfie Cunningham's strike. I'm sure that was just as good to watch. But yeah, we hung in there just about. But the levels that they reached in the second half are the levels that they need to understand are going to be required if they're going to get anywhere in Matt Taylor's first team.
I mean, you've alluded to it already, but you know, this game against a senior opposition is something different that the boys normally face. You know, what difficulties and what strengths did they come through after going through all that?
Well, when you play against a good men's team at the level that they're at, they've got experience, they've got nous, they're clever, they use their body well, and they're physically strong. If they can get your arm on you, then it doesn't matter how good you think you are on the ball, they'll bully you. And at times that happened today. In the first half, we weren't in the right position quick enough to be able to use our strengths, which would be pace, fitness, technique, ability on the ball. And so we gave away too many fouls, quite a lot of fouls that we did give away today that we shouldn't have done. We weren't quick enough in position. But I think it's a great learning curve for the lads to feel that. You know, in academy football, you don't get the little clever nudges just as the ball's about to get to you, or just as you take off to try and win a header. You don't get those little nudges in the back as clever as what you do when you're playing against guys that have been around the block a little bit. And it's those little nuances, that little bit of nous and cleverness that often makes a difference. Academy football is often quite honest and quite genuine and quite authentic and nice. And this was an experience that it could have gone not quite so nice if we hadn't have got where we did in the second half.
You've talked about the quality of the goals, but there were some decent bits of play in and amongst sort of the passages of play going forward. You know, despite the difficult pitch, it was nice to see that they played some decent football on it.
Yeah, again, I mean, we've had, you know, Ben Green was here tonight, and he drove it in the second half, and he drove it knowing what Matt Taylor wants, knowing what Matt Taylor is in need of when he goes into that League Two season, and the lads responded, and it's really important that the lads understand what good looks like. And for 25 minutes, yeah, you're right, the goals, everybody will talk about the goals because they were such nice strikes. But the quality of play, the building of play, the bravery to get on the ball, the willingness of people to run, to want to create space for themselves or somebody else. The fact that our lads were cramping at the end and starting to really tire. They've had quite a heavy schedule over this last few weeks, quite a lot of travel. But Matt Taylor's first team has played 50, they're probably going to end up playing 60 games by the end of the season at an elite level, and that's what our guys are striving for. So they can't go half-hearted into these games. They have to be able to play the good stuff that you've shown there, but they also have to be able to play at an intensity that they showed in parts today. Can they do it for 90 minutes would be the challenge.
And finally, obviously, you talked about the schedule there. You've got more games left in the under-18s and the academy setup, but you've got a final now to look forward to. I mean, that must be something that you're going to relish and take the boys into.
Yeah, and I think that is another thing that's a bit different today. Winning's important. They're going into a profession where it's all about winning. And yes, you want the performance that goes with it, but at the end of the day, if you're terrible and you win, generally speaking, you go home happy on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. What they had today was about winning. Yes, we wanted them to play well. Yes, we wanted to see a performance, but it was a different type of feel. They had to win. They had to get to that final. They deserved to. They've gone to some difficult places and they've put on some good performances, and that's credit to all of the lads that played tonight and several others that weren't here, that are on loan elsewhere at the moment. They deserve to be in a final. They deserve to know what that feels like. And the big thing now is to go and win it, because nobody ever remembers the team that loses those finals.